Yo, what's good, internet? I go by the name of Pwky Dio, and I'm back with another Mac Bang. We got Lovis here in the building, man.
Yes, sir. You are tired of looking in from afar, tired of wondering how you been doing and knowing I'll never break you guys apart. Whatever happened to what we called ours? All of the talks, so we looked at the stars. Say that I loved you, it's only the half of it. Thought I was fine, but I can't really handle it. What if we handle the bottoms we had? What if we never let things get so bad? What if I never ever let you go? What would have happened?
And today we're gonna be eating actual local, locally made restaurant called Red Pine here in Temecula, California.
Yes, sir.
I'll drop the link down in the description. Make sure you go try it. This is my first time trying it. I'm gonna open it up.
Yeah, what'd you get?
I got, okay, so let's see. I got eggs, chicken, beef, corn, carrots, and I forgot, what is this called?
Bean sprouts.
Bean sprouts. That's what I got. Look, this shit look bust. I'm not gonna lie. That's what I got. Tell them what you got.
Nah, so I got a beef bowl with white rice. I got bean sprouts, corn, edamame, spinach, mushrooms, carrots, all that shit.
Yeah.
Got sesame seeds on it. Got the gochu sauce, soy glaze, and then what you gotta do when you have Red Pine Cafe is you gotta take the in-house kimchi that he makes.
He makes it in house.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Literally dump all of it in, mix it up, and it's so good.
Mix it up and it's so good. Okay.
Not for real.
Okay. I'm about to do that right now.
Got to.
And then, yep. After we do that, we're gonna take a bite and get right into the video.
I know you can watch us be fat asses.
Oh God. And I hope you guys really enjoy these videos, man, because I enjoy making them. And if you don't enjoy them, then fuck off.
I mean, shit, I'm enjoying it right now because I got free lunch.
He did get free lunch, and it's okay because in return he's being on this Big Back series with me. You feel me? And it's an adventure, especially like with the people that I know, and it's definitely an experience that I feel like a lot of people should have, and just a goal that I have personally try to do for myself. So now he said mix it. I also got white rice I'm assuming at the bottom. Yep, at the bottom. And so you said mix it?
Yeah, literally just mix it all in.
Okay.
So you can get like a good bite. You get like all the toppings.
Oh, I need to take a picture. My girl gonna get mad.
I know.
Okay.
The phone eats before you do.
Yeah, facts. Okay. So we mixing it. This shit looks bust. I'm not gonna lie. It smells good too, dude.
Yeah.
So
he gave you a little bit of beef too, so make sure you get some beef and chicken in that bite.
This shit looks real good.
I'm taking my first bite right now.
He fucking hooked it up fat, bro. Shout out to him. And then for the drink, I got a honey green tea. I'm a big fan of tea, so this shit looks bomb. And then tell him what you got.
I got a Vietnamese coffee. I already drank some of it. Has had a sea salt foam in it. It's just gas.
Wow. Oh my God. Yo. This shit is buzz, dude.
I know.
Shit is, oh my God, yo.
And like, especially if anybody that's watching this knows Derek, the owner of Red Pine, this dude's been grinding his shit for 2 years. I swear, he's probably the most active person on Temecula Talk right now.
I heard, he said he was doing a lot. He does a lot of like TikTok and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get all the information after I'm done with this episode. Put it down in the description. Make sure you go follow him. Give him a big shout out. Say you saw Makai's Mac Bang. You feel me? And hopefully if you're in the IE area, go check it out, man. Bussin'.
I know, especially because it's hard to find good Asian food out here. So,
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yo.
I really put you on today, huh?
Dude, actually, okay. Because usually whenever I get guests on and stuff like that, I ask them, I'm like, hey, let me know what you want. Give me your order. I'll order it, and then, we'll come sit down and talk, right? And he suggested this place, but how he said it, he was like, oh, let's go to this poke spot. Me personally, I'm not a poke person. I don't like regular fish, just raw. It's not my thing. It's just, something that I don't like. It's not my taste buds. You feel me? So when he said that, I was like, oh, fuck. I got to try something really new today. And I was kind of nervous. But then when I looked at the menu, I saw this. I was like, okay, it wasn't too bad. But, bro, this is definitely exceeded all my expectations, dude. Okay.
Oh no, I told you about Pwky first, but
Yeah.
this is a totally separate thing.
It's not?
Yeah, no, it's not a Pwky place.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was looking, I was like, I don't see no fish on this fucking menu, bro.
No,
It's
yeah.
crazy. Okay, so.
But yeah, initially I did suggest Pwky just because I was kind of feeling it, but to be honest, last night I did have sushi, so I was like, yeah, no, I'll probably go with Red Pine.
Fire,
Especially because, like, you know, this is probably one of my go-to spots that I go to. I actually go there a decent bit. Whenever I'm hungry, I don't want to go out to eat. Like, it's either this or, like, Chipotle or, you know me, I'm a big fan of Taco Bell, regardless of what anybody says.
Taco Bell?
Bro,
you don't fuck with Del Taco?
See, I've had Del Taco in the past, but, like, low-key is giving me the shits.
Bro, dude. Honestly, what do you get, actually?
I forgot what I'll get, but I did go there recently, and I had their, like, carne asada fries that they do. That shit was actually pretty bomb.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I've had that a couple times. Okay.
But maybe I gotta give it another shot sometime.
The only reason why I like Del Taco, my mom put me on when I was younger, so it has that little nostalgia feeling.
Okay.
But only because of the fries, to be honest. Because Taco Bell doesn't have fries besides the nacho fries.
And the nacho fries are good, but they give you more at Del Taco.
Yeah, bro. You can get, bro, like the nacho fries literally come in one size, and it's like this. Comes with like 25 fries, and it's fucking...
No, it's like more like 20 fries, and then they give you nacho cheese sauce that's like literally this big.
Nah, it's smaller than that, dude.
No.
They upgraded it?
Dude, the last time I went, they gave me nacho cheese this size, and I'm like, bro, how am I going to use all of this
For the
like,
little ass fries?
Yeah.
Dude, because like usually it's like half of this, bro, and it's like, bro, like what's the point, dude?
Yeah.
But, you know, usually, or what I want to start doing when I start doing these mukbangs and stuff like that is just ask people, how are you doing, like, mentally and all that? So, how are you doing mentally? Like, how's life going for you right now?
I mean, I took my mood stabilizer and my antidepressants today, so I'm feeling great right now.
Great.
I'm feeling great right now.
Is that a truth?
It is a truth. It is actually a truth.
Okay.
I do struggle with mental health issues. I recently got re-diagnosed as bipolar, so something that, you know, I've been learning to be more open about, especially just because, like, you know, like, for anybody out there that struggles with that, you know, that feeling of, like, it feels like you're alone in that struggle, but to be honest, it's like, once you go out, talk to more people, and, like, you know, get to know them more, like, you'll come to understand really quickly that everybody has some type of that, like, you know, that they share that same type of struggle with you.
Yeah.
In a sense, you know?
You know, you can relate to them on a more...
Exactly.
Deeper level than just, like, a surface level or superficial way. Mm-hmm. You know? And, so, since you said that, like, what kind of things do you do to try to, like, mitigate all the either outbursts or just, like, over emotions that you feel whenever you're feeling in a, like, panic state or something like that?
So meds is definitely a big help, although I will say meds doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
But meds, therapy, just going out, honestly, too, like, just connecting with people, like, you know, and, like, really, like, just strengthening connections that I have with friends.
Yeah.
But also, like, music. Music is a really big tool for me. And it's something that I've been, like, opening up more with, like, some of the new music that I've been creating. I've yet to show Makai some of it, but I'll probably show him some after the episode.
No, don't worry. We got time. We got time. Usually when I film these, they be late at night. We got time today, man.
I know. It is currently 2:37.
2:37. We linked up at, like, 2. You feel me? And, damn, yeah, like, I feel like that's a great way to, you know, find expression within yourself. Because a lot of people don't really know what's truly going on in your head or how you truly feel. And you could describe it and really try to explain it in a way where they can understand. But at the end of the day, they probably won't really get it because they can't feel the same way that you feel. You know?
And especially, too, it's like, you know, it's still... Like, I just find it that it's crazy that it's still somewhat of, like, a hush-hush topic, even with, like, you know, how many resources we have now and, you know, how open some people are about it. Like, it's still... Like, I still find some people that are like, I don't know if I want to talk about that.
No.
You know, and I get it. You know, it's hard. It's really hard to open up. But, like, once you finally do, it feels so much better.
So,
But you've asked me how I'm doing mentally. Now I'm gonna turn around. How are you doing mentally right now?
Bro, honestly, I'm mentally right now, I'm great. It feels like, I just came back from a trip a couple weeks ago, and before the trip, I feel like I had a lot of things just going on in my personal life where it was just messing me up mentally, emotionally. It was kind of like I just kept having these irregular thoughts and feelings in my body, and I just didn't really know how to. Sometimes it's hard for me to truly communicate how I really feel, especially to just people in general, right? Because like I said, like it's my thing is it's hard to try to connect with somebody that I feel like wouldn't understand how I'm truly feeling, and I feel like that's just not a way that some people should live, because I was just more scared of expressing myself to the point where other people were just going to judge me and kind of reject how I feel and not, so I wouldn't be able to feel heard. So it'd be kind of pointless to talk to people. But coming back from that trip and just really stepping away from the normal things that I do and going to an environment where it's totally different culture out there, and just different weathers and just different things that I was just doing, and it helped me just clear my mind and allowed myself to really just rest.
Especially in Hawaii, because it's the people over there, it's like, even though there is somewhat of a stigma with tourism over there, it still feels it's a very welcoming environment. And that's honestly what it's all about too, especially as humans, connection is a very big part of our lives, and when you strengthen and nurture that, it's huge for people.
So now coming back from taking that little vacation and coming back to an environment that I'm usually normally in, and just having a different type of mindset and just perspective on a lot of things, it really warms me up to be more open and more just positive, and just try to be the best person that I could possibly be, not just for myself but for my pals, my peers and stuff like that, and I ask everyone to either, if you're going through anything that's allowing you to not function the way you normally function, I would say take a step back and really just disconnect so you can reconnect. And it's kind of, at first you're gonna struggle. Everyone struggles with trying to figure out how to change. But once you get to the point of the tipping point of something that you want to do, you will become better at just thinking about new things and just having a more natural, positive energy type of mindset, I would say. But so going back to you, I appreciate you for asking that question. Going back to you, you said you were kind of in a, I don't want to speak for you or put words in your mouth, but I've been in positions where, I'm not in the best mental space and stuff like that. So you said, what helped benefit you is more meds, therapy, going out more. Before you even got to that realization of that's what you want to do to try to help benefit your life, how did you come up with that little idea to want to take those steps?
So it's kind of something that I was thinking about for years. Especially because the first time I really noticed any symptoms of that was I was back in middle school. But growing up, as a person of color, it's and especially with having parents from Gen X, it's not saying that they're not accepting, but it's harder for them to understand the struggles that come with that, because it's something that was never really addressed for them growing up.
Wasn't a big priority to help nurture that type of side.
Exactly, especially because back then, a lot of people took a ignorance is bliss kind of mindset. When it came to those issues, and that's why, and it's unfortunate that it ends up manifesting itself in cases Robin Williams, Anthony Bourdain, people who you wouldn't think are going through that, they end up they end up, you know, making a decision that they can't reverse.
Yeah.
But in terms of, you know, coming up with that idea of like, you know, going to therapy and, you know, taking meds and like going through all those steps, as much as, you know, she did harm to me throughout my life, I do have to give credit to my ex. She put that idea of actually going to like a whole like residential therapy treatment, and I was there for a month, you know, working on myself, getting right, getting diagnosed, getting on meds and everything. And, you know, I hope it doesn't have to get to that point for some people, but you know, it is such a good resource to have, because it kind of allows you to kind of get that same feeling that you had in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Where you get to just disconnect from the world, you know, take everything in, focus on yourself. But yeah, that's essentially how I came up with that.
Oh, that's fire, dude. Damn. Yeah, so like, I've never been to therapy and stuff like that. You know, I've done a lot of what's that word?
Self-work?
Self-work. I've done a lot of self-work on myself, you know. And the first step of even getting to that point of getting to like pushing even getting to that point of finding your own self-worth is taking a lot of accountability for everything that you do. You know, everything in your life may not be your fault, but majority of your actions are your own fault and come with your own consequences and stuff like that. And you have to realize that you at the end of the day, like, you're the one that's going to be paying for your own actions.
Yeah.
You know, and I was saying, like, I've never been to therapy. I've never been to actual therapists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I heard nothing but great things come out of there. You know, there's a few cases where people didn't like it for X, Y, and Z. What were some of the biggest takeaways for you about, like, while you were going to therapy?
I think it's just kind of, accountability and acceptance is like the biggest like step to take when it comes to, like, you know, self-improvement and self-work and everything. So that's probably one of my biggest takeaways, especially laying things out from my perspective, but also, like, you know, getting an outside perspective on what I was going through and helping me understand, like, you know, why things were the way that they were, why things were happening, why I was feeling that way.
Yeah.
And then, you know, moving forward, like, you know, okay, how can I do things a little bit differently? How can I, you know, like, how can I improve myself, you know, going forward, you know, with those actions? But, you know, I mean, therapy isn't for everybody. You know, it's not, there is no, you know, be all end all, you know, for mental health and everything. Like, you know, a lot of people work on it in many different ways. But I mean, as long as you're acknowledging that you have something that you want to work on and accepting, like, you know, responsibility for your actions, but also taking accountability for, like, for other things that you've done, you know, that's a good first step, especially because you need to be really self-aware, you know, to truly work on yourself and, you know, understand, like, you know, you may be a good person at heart, but there may be some things that you've done in your life that, you know, weren't so
good. Yeah. You know, and not gonna lie, you know, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, as I do with everybody, either on this podcast or just people that I know in my personal life. You know, I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. You know, and I think if you are someone that wants to be perfect and feels like you are perfect, just know, I personally, you know, you can drag me through the mud with this one, but I personally think that that's not a good mindset to have.
Oh yeah,
you know,
especially because perfection is something that's impossible to achieve as a person. Yeah. Even the greatest people that you can think of in your minds have their own set of flaws. Yeah. You know, but like, that's what makes us human. Because if we were all perfect, then
we'd be robots.
Yeah. Well, we'd be robots, but also, like, you know, there's no stimulation there. There's no room for improvement. No reason to kind of, like, learn about certain things. Yeah. So you know, it's something that, like, you know, that's also a really hard thing to accept for some people, is that, you know, like, you can never truly be perfect.
Yeah. And yeah, I 100% agree, dude. Like, this world is full of evil, and I've said this many times, many episodes, of just people that I know, like I said, in a personal level. Like, this world is very evil, and I wish I could control. I wish I can control or just like help the whole world. But like right now, I can't. I don't have that much power. You feel me? But what I could do is to better myself so I can better the people around me and change the lives around me. You know, and at certain times, obviously, it's hard to even try to get past those like negative thoughts or negative emotions and you know stuff like that. But it's also a great thing to have great people around you where they'll be like, "Hey, I know you're going through this, and like just know you're not alone." You know, and that's a scary thing because a lot of people feel like they're alone.
Yeah, and that's something I've had, you know, trouble accepting in the past too, where it's like, you know, trying to release that sense of like wanting to have control. Especially because, you know, the human brain, how it works is like, you know, it's always searching for answers. It always wants a definitive solution for everything. But, you know, that's not the case for everything. Like, obviously for very simple and like surface level issues, there's solutions. But, you know, for something that's, you know, has deeper meaning, it's
like more complex.
And has more complexity. Like, you know, there isn't going to be, you know, a definitive solution. And, you know, learning to let go of like, you know, that sense of needing control, like, you know, that's also really, really big. Because it's something that I feel like I fixated on a lot. I don't know if you have, but
definitely.
You know, I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people fixate on, especially when it comes to like, you know, reflecting on the past, you know, how things could have been different, like, you know.
And just always in a constant state of worry. You know, and that's always going to be detriment to just your physical health and your mental health. Because, you know, if you're always thinking about what I could have done in the past, you're never going to be able to move on in the future.
Yeah, especially because, like, you know, the past 2-3 years, like, have been really, really tough for me mentally. Like, I may not have shown it, but, you know, I was struggling with, like, you know, acceptance, needing to, you know, have control over the things in my life. And you know, it took me a while to get to the point of trying to release that, but you know, I've been so much happier since then.
Yeah, we love that. We love that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you know, like it's you know, always trying to feel like you need to be the mastermind and really put everything into place, but at the end of the day, you can't control anyone. You can't change the people that don't want to be changed.
Oh yeah, and then you know, especially like when it relates back to like, you know, self-reflection, it's like, you know, earlier this year I was in a really bad car accident.
I remember that.
Yeah, car was totaled and everything, and you know, still something that I deal with to this day, in terms of like, you know, PTSD and everything. But yeah, when I was in a dark place, you know, before going through that therapy program and everything, you know, I was kind of ruminating on those thoughts of like, damn, like what if I just, like what if I didn't take that way, that route, like how would my life be different? And like, you know, I put a lot of blame on that accident, you know, kind of derailing things in my life. And sure, it did derail certain things, but you know, at the end of the day, it was something out of my control because you know, through that accident and everything, I was doing everything I was supposed to do, and unfortunately, you know, a driver just decided to run a red light and T-bone me. But yeah, that was a big thing to let go of, or you know, working towards letting go of, is like, you know, feeling the need to like, you know, I felt like I could have had more control in that situation, when in reality, like I did the best I could. You know, I was able to swing the wheel away, you know, direct us out of traffic and everything, and put us into a curb instead of another car. So
it could have been a lot worse than what you did, you know?
Yeah, and like, you know, and the way it was handled and everything, like you know, luckily I was able to keep my self-composure and everything, like, you know, as mad as I was about being in that accident, at least at the scene and everything, like I didn't berate the driver or anything. I just, you know, because I remember, and this was like when I noticed, like, you know, I'm starting to improve a little bit, but still need some work. I remember walking up to the driver and being like, hey, dude, like, I don't hate you. You know, I don't wish any ill will towards you, but I just need you to understand that you caused this accident. That's it. Because initially he was trying to put the blame on me and everything, but luckily there was witnesses and everything. Police arrived on the scene, and they were like, yeah, no, dude, you caused the accident.
Was he drunk or?
No, I felt really bad because, like, looking back in like hindsight, you know, that day, because I remember he had a really thick accent, and it sounded like, you know, either he just got here or, you know, probably wasn't supposed to be here. And, you know, because I don't want to make that assumption, but I had a feeling that he didn't want to involve police because of his potential legal status,
Yeah.
especially because he didn't have insurance. You know, he
wow.
barely had a license.
Yeah.
So, you know, I felt bad, and you know, especially because like, you know, I don't want to see this dude get, you know, deported over something that that, you know, like, granted, yes, he made a big mistake, but you know, I don't wish any ill will towards the guy.
Yeah. Damn, that's very you know, very I want to say mature the way you handle that. Because I too was in a actually pretty big accident. But my situation was a little different only because it was my fault. You know, I put myself in a situation where I just wasn't in the best state of mind at the time. And in a blink of an eye, you know, this one moment kind of just happened, and it kind of just threw my life in a fucking loop. And it's crazy because like I can see the beauty in the situation happening, you know, but I can also see the ugly in the situation happening. Like, I could have easily avoided all that shit in if I just didn't do the things that I was doing, you know. But I'm very grateful for that happening, only because it put me in a position to where I am doing a lot better now as a person. You know, that's not something that I would do again.
Yeah, and even then, if you still had trouble looking at the positives, I mean, big positive, you're sitting here right now.
Yeah.
You know, filming this mukbang.
Yeah, bro. Like that night, I deadass could have died. And like, if you guys, if I don't know if I've ever showed you the pictures or anything like that, but I'll show you right now. But like, I could have easily died in a matter of an instant, and I could have been taken away from all the people that love me and the people that I love myself. And I'm very grateful for the outcome of everything that's happened. And you know, I will never blame anybody besides myself. But at the end of the day, you know, God was on my side, and there was nothing but angels around me in that moment to help make sure that I was okay. And I like, yeah, it was wild, bro. So,
Ooh, dang.
yeah. So like, this is what, feel me? Like, even before it got to there. And then, at the time, I don't wear seatbelts, so like, my head hit the windshield.
Oh, damn.
And it was fucked, bro. Like, whole car totaled, bro. Like, there wasn't.
Yeah.
It would cost like 10 bands just to fix that. And
I know, because at that point it wouldn't even be worth it.
it wasn't. I think I had like less than 10 to spend on it. And
this was mine.
Damn.
Like, all airbags went off.
Axle fucked up.
Yep.
Oh my, that was the point of impact. Oh my god.
That's from the airbag.
Oh, I was like, what the?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and then he hit again.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, but that wheel, that what was it?
Because it
that
pushed,
axle.
it skidded this way, huh?
Yeah. So the reason why the wheel is like that was actually because of what I said earlier when
You swerved.
Yeah, I swerved and put us into a curb.
Yeah.
And I got so lucky that I was able to react fast enough, and honestly, I'll probably chalk it up to playing so many racing video games growing up.
Playing Need for Speed and shit.
No, for real. Like, the specific Need for Speed game I'll list is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. The 2010.
Yeah.
The 2010 remaster, not remaster, but reboot.
On the 360?
On the 360.
Fire, bro.
I was a really shit driver in that game. But like what comes with that is, you know, you got to learn quick reaction time, especially like, you know, when you start getting like the nitrous and the boosts and everything in that game.
Yeah. So,
you know, shout out Need for Speed for helping me improve my driving skills just a little bit, even though I would crash into guardrails and shit.
That's crazy.
But yeah, and like, you know, it was also something that, you know, not only did it impact my mental state, but also like, you know, because you know me, I'm a car guy.
Yeah.
I love cars. Like, you know,
You guys should see his car right now. Fire, bro. Inside and out, fire.
It's a work in progress right now, but yeah,
still fire though.
But it's a fun car to whip around. You know, it's a small little coupe, 6-speed manual, all that.
Yeah.
But it was scary getting in that car, like, you know, initially after the accident, especially because, like, you know, I'm much more paranoid and everything, and like, I remember just being so mad because I'm like, damn, like, you know, I really hope this doesn't impact my love for cars.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know,
it's a scary moment. It's a scary experience.
Yeah, well, because I experienced something traumatic, you know, in something that I like, you know,
love,
like taking part of.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure like it'd be the same thing like if something traumatic happened to me at like a music event.
Yeah.
Or something, like, you know,
you would think differently about music.
Exactly.
And I agree. Like literally after my car accident, dude, I didn't want to drive. I felt like I didn't need a license anymore. Like I was okay. Like with just being either driven around or just taking Ubers. That's why like now I just Uber everywhere, and I just either get a ride from like a couple of homies or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And being in a car like literally right after that was a very scary moment for me. Like sometimes I was even riding around with my eyes closed, bro. Like I'd be in the back seat, front seat, wherever I was. Besides, I would make it a thing that I would not drive, and if I was able to like be in a car, I literally would close my eyes and like I would like just either look down, close my eyes, and just wait for the ride to be over. Yeah. Or just like put my AirPods in and listen to music. Yeah. You know.
Or like the worst part would be like because like when you're driving, right, you're driving past driveways and how cars like will wait right there and sometimes like lurk forward a little bit. That would scare the shit out of me when I was driving. Or even when I was a passenger, like I'd see them and I'd immediately like start flinching or tensing up. Like I remember and then like there's even like some close calls like when I was a passenger after the accident. Like I remember I was riding in the back of my parents' car and we were on the 805 South down in San Diego, and if anybody watching knows about the 805 South in San Diego,
crazy.
It's a crazy ass freeway. Like you either go 90 or you don't get on that freeway at all. Yeah. So I remember like we were next to an on-ramp that like was about to merge into us. This car just wasn't looking, like almost like swerved into us, but like it was on my side. So I just remember like I had my eyes closed, listening to music. I open them and I look to my right. I see a car right there and I start freaking the fuck out.
Oh my god, dude, that's scary.
And like luckily my dad was like he swerved out of the way and like started honking at the dude. But I was like, that was like really scary for me at the time because I was like that was only a month removed from the accident. Yeah. Dude. But now I mean it's gotten a lot better. Yeah. Like with my anxiety with like driving and everything, like
it's more manageable.
Well, now it's like it's pretty much non-existent, especially because like not gonna lie, sometimes at 3 a.m. I go racing from time to time with my friends.
This guy, bro, doesn't learn. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, maybe the accident was your fault.
I'm like, right. No, I'm kidding. Nah.
No, but yeah, that's also like kind of been helping me get over my driving anxieties. Just kind of getting back to how like just doing things I used to do before the accident, like going out with friends driving, especially because I got friends that like they love cars too. They drive nice cars. Like I'm so jealous of one of my friends. He drives a 2003 Evo 8 that his dad gave him.
Shit,
dude, that thing is a fucking beast.
Damn, that sounds fire.
And that car sounds so sexy. It has like a deep rumble. Ooh.
For my car people out there, I don't know what the fuck you just said, so let me know in the comments what you just said.
Bro, just look up 2003 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 in the yellow color. That's the car that he has.
Damn, that sounds good though.
Bro, it is such a fire ass car. It's probably one of my favorite cars ever.
That's ever been manufactured out of the hundreds of thousands of cars.
Yeah, because like,
well, I would say thousands of cars.
I mean, I'm a car guy, but like my favorite type of car is like Japanese cars. I love JDM cars.
Yeah, those are tough. I actually do like Japanese cars
and
as
like
well.
As cool as like supercars and hypercars are, it's like it's so expensive for what?
Yeah, bro. Fucking
and like
500,000 for a Ferrari, dude.
Yeah, and like granted, they're cool. It's a cool flex, but like the thing that I like specifically about JDM cars is the fun that you can have driving them, the reliability. Yeah. But also like the potential of it, like when you modify it, or even if it's like just a factory car. Like for example, like one of the newer ones is like the WRX STI. Granted, they haven't made one since 2021. It's a modern car that still has like a manual e-brake, six-speed manual too, has pushes 300 horsepower, turbocharged, all-wheel drive.
Oh, that's fire.
Like and that car is fun. Granted, it'll get unreliable if you start being a dickhead and like messing with it too much. Yeah. But if you just keep it stock, like that's such a fun car.
Damn. So let me ask you, what's your current dream car?
Oh, that's an easy ass question. So it's a 1998 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 5, specifically in the silver color with white wheels.
With white wheels specifically, okay. Damn, why? What's so good about that car that you was like, that's something that I want to get?
So it still shares the same engine as, you know, the generations 1 through 9 on the Evo. The legendary 4G63 engine, probably one of the best inline fours ever manufactured, outside of like the Honda K series and the B series engines.
What's this nigga talking about, bro?
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm a car nerd, bro.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so like, you know, the engine can reliably hold power if you do the correct modifications. Already stock from the factory, it comes pushing 280.
Damn.
It's still all-wheel drive, 5-speed manual. It's right side drive too.
Oh, fire! I love right side drives.
And the front end of it is extremely aggressive. Like it has a very aggressive front end, and then the spoiler too. Like it is such a beautiful car. Like I'll show Makai a picture right now just because like just so you can understand truly like how sexy this car is.
I bet. And then I'm gonna have him screenshot it, send it to me, and then I'm gonna put it up. So you guys see it somewhere? It's gonna be somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you see
damn.
that? See that aggressive front end and everything?
Yo, that's
like
tough.
With the fog lights and everything.
Okay, that's actually really tough. That's actually really tough.
Like,
wow.
Like, you know, and that's what makes me sad too, is because like, you know, Mitsubishi used to be such a giant when it came to sports cars because they had, you know, the Evo, they had the Eclipse, they had
Eclipse is low-key tough too.
Oh, the Eclipse is not the latest, like the last generations of like the coupes. Well, because the only Eclipse that they have now is like it's a fucking crossover.
With what?
So it's like an SUV.
Oh, what the?
But it's like they call it the Eclipse Cross, but it's like it's such a shitty car. But like, you know, but they had, you know, the Evo, the Eclipse, they had the GT3000, they had, you know, the Galant VR4, you know, all great cars, and now like, you know, they're barely scraping by because they've only been focusing on like economy cars and like not even good ones at that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, same thing is somewhat starting to happen to Subaru. Granted, they still have, you know, the WRX, but like, you know,
I heard that's a really good car too.
But if you've seen like, you know, how the newest version looks, it literally just looks like a shrunken Outback. Because of like, you know, the black plastic along like the fenders and everything. And like they still do have the BRZ too, which is like practically the same version, or a Subaru version of my car.
Yeah.
But yeah, even they're slowly starting to like, you know, phase out sports cars. So it's like, it's sad, especially because like, you know, once they start doing that, like, you know, parts and then, you know, cars in general are just gonna like
get more expensive.
Yeah, specifically the ones that I want too.
Yeah.
So
because they're gonna be like the rarity of everything and like this like out of stock things. You know?
Well, especially like, you know, and then you're gonna start to see more examples that are like just beat into the ground.
Oh shit!
So like you know, and then like when you find like one that's like mostly stock or like mostly taken care of, it's gonna be like what, 40 grand.
Yeah. Like
that's what's happening with the Evos right now.
Damn, bro. So what do you think the cheapest Evo is out there right now? Or what you can get a cheap little Evo for?
I've seen some in Japan going for 12 grand.
Okay.
But, you know, you got to factor in, like, you know, import fees, agent fees, and then also, like, you know, tax, registration, all that. Like, so, like, I mean, grand total, like, you're looking at...
Still, like, 30K?
Close to 30K. So, you could probably, like, factor in, like, maybe 10 to 12,000, sometimes 16, into, like, you know, all those fees on top of the car itself.
Yeah.
And then the suck thing, too, is that, like, you know, with cars, like, with the Evos, like, that are specifically sold at that price, like, you know, there's a higher risk of them being, like, rusted because of, like, you know, the climate in Japan and everything. But as far as, like, American Evos go, like, the cheapest I've seen is, like, 15 grand, but they're, like, beat. They are beat Evo 10s.
Damn, bro. Jesus Christ.
And it's, like, and the Evo 10s are, like, considered, like, the fat Evos or, like, the ugly Evos. Just because, you know, cosmetically they're not as cool as, like, you know, 1 through 9. And then they also don't even share the same engine as 1 through 9. Like, I think it's the 4B, if I remember correctly, for the engine code. But it's still a decent engine.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't feel like an Evo anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that's why, like, you know, I tend to stay away from the 10s and, like, you know, more into the 1 through 9.
Okay. Damn, that's actually really interesting because I have no idea what this nigga said. You know, man was talking about engines, numbers, letters with the engines, stuff like that. not a car guy. You know, so everything he just said sounded like hieroglyphics to me.
I know this dude used to be a Kia boy.
Bro, that only lasted like a month or two, bro.
I know.
It was crazy, bro. Bought a car, engine took a shit on me. That's literally what happened.
And the funniest thing, too, is when he pulled up to my house with the Kia.
He's like, oh, that's a piece of shit. I'm like, damn. Well, he said it was a pisser.
Well, no. I said it was an oil pisser. And I told him to watch out for that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey. Because as soon as I saw him pull up, I'm like, you know, obviously, like, I don't care about your car's cosmetics. As long as it gets you from point A to B, that's whatever. Yeah. But
it did look kind of ugly, too. But.
Yeah. I mean, the only time I really care about car cosmetics is, like, if it's a car that, like, you know, I don't have to buy, but, like, it's a car that I want.
Yeah.
But anyways, like, yeah. It's just because those GDI engines from Hyundai and Kia, they're notorious for pissing oil.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've seen a lot of them have, like, you know, failures that would come into the shops that I would work at, so... Yeah.
No, yeah. He was roasting me when I pulled up for the first time, went to his house. And it's okay, you know. It did
just for the engine.
It did give me to point A to point B, sometimes C and D, you know. It's all good. But yeah, that shit, I don't have that shit no more.
Yeah, he tried to push it to E, but then it blew up.
Yeah, it did blow up. So the God, and
unfortunately.
Fortunate, yeah, very, very unfortunate. And it would have cost a lot more than the car was worth. So I just trashed it. And it is what it is now. We're moving forward. Now I ride a bike. So
hey, that's why like, you know, if anybody's looking for a beater car, don't go for Kias, Nissans, or Hyundais. Just get yourself a Civic or get yourself a Corolla or a Camry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those things, you could literally abuse those engines as much as you want. You could even drain the oil out of them. They'll still run.
You know what? We're going to test it with his car, so we'll be back. No,
we're not going to test it on my car.
No, I'm just kidding.
I love my car way too much to put it through some science experiments.
I'm fucking dead, bro. Okay. Damn, bro. Yeah, like, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm not really a car person, stuff like that. But I kind of want to get away from the car topic now, and that's very interesting. You know, that's something that a world that I'm not well versed in. You know, it's very interesting hearing it come from someone that I truly know on a personal level, and, you know, give me some thoughts and tips and tricks and shit like that. But kind of want to go into music. You know, is there anything that you're currently working on that you're excited about?
So I've been working on an album that I want to put out hopefully by the end of this year. I've shown Makai a few beats. I already have some songs recorded, written. But yeah, I've been trying to sort of branch out with, like, you know, my style of production for it. Looking to do something a little more ambient and more introspective, because, like, I've had some introspective songs on, like, you know, previous projects and everything, but nothing to the level that I want to get into on this next album, especially because at the time when I recorded all the songs, bro, I was like 18 or 19.
Oh, damn.
So, like, you know, and I'm 21 right now. So,
young motherfucker.
Yeah, I know.
Young motherfucker.
But yeah, like, you know, I was more focused on, like, superficial shit, and, like, but also I wasn't as open as I am now about struggling with mental health, struggling with, like, other issues too, like, or, like, even, like, because, like, you know, because in that album, like, I'm gonna be talking about, like, you know, obviously relationships, that's something I always talk about, but getting more personal with it, you know, being a domestic violence survivor.
Sorry to hear that.
That was a heavy topic, you know, to sort of talk about on the album, but, you know, I feel like it's something I need to shed light on, because, you know, with that, anybody can go through that. It doesn't matter if you're guy, woman, transgender, whatever. Like, whatever you identify as, like, everybody can still go through it. You know. But also talking about, like, you know, struggles with, like, you know, my own personal relationship with, like, you know, friends, family, loved ones, all that stuff. But yeah, because, like, I truly want to put out a project that, like, you know, will sonically sound good, but also let people know a little bit more about me, other than just, like, you know, doing interviews like this, or, like, you know, Harrison's podcast. You know, because
music matters more for anybody that's wondering.
Exactly.
You know,
I was on there. Makai was on there.
Great podcast host. Great episodes, honestly. And yeah, you know, I don't want to talk too much about that, but if you're very curious, I'll link his podcast down below. Give it a watch. You know, comment down and let him know how you feel about it. We'll continue.
But yeah, so I wanted to get more introspective on this album just because, you know, I'm kind of over focusing on like superficial things and just kind of want to give people like, you know, an idea of like what my mind state can look at in like certain, like in different times.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some songs where like, you know, I talk about like, you know, giving into like lust. Yeah. You know, because I feel like that was something that I struggled with. You know, and I would kind of confuse love with lust. Yeah. And I wouldn't know that till like hindsight and everything, and you know, looking back at certain things, but also like, you know, kind of releasing like, you know, the internal self-blame that I had for certain things happening to me.
Yeah. So, because you said you struggled with lust. I'm not gonna lie. I too struggle with lust, and there's a time in my life where I felt like I wasn't capable of being loved only because of the way that I was brought up and stuff like that. And, you know, emotionally that I felt like I wasn't really getting the emotional nutrients that I needed from, you know, my actual family members and stuff like that. So when it came down to like my relationships, the only thing that I knew was how to keep it just physical and just lustful and not actually build like a genuine emotional connection with somebody. Yeah. What kind of things were you like looking for when you started to try to change your mind from a lustful mindset to like a more lovable mindset?
Yeah. So for me, I actually started off like in like, you know, a more serious mindset of like wanting to build a connection, wanting to build relationships like, you know, that last. But I got my heart broken. You know, went through my first heartbreak, and then, you know, it came at a time where I was struggling with a lot of negative thoughts, like within myself, but also like family conflict and everything because of, you know, COVID. Yeah. Because that happened like smack in the middle of the pandemic when there wasn't really an opportunity for me to escape from everything.
You were just stuck.
You know, and I was just, you know, longing for someone's affection, like, and it didn't matter like how that affection manifested itself, whether or not it was physical or like, you know, emotionally. Yeah. So, you know, I turned to sex, and, you know, it was a struggle kind of, you know, trying to get out of that. But then like, you know, as much as like, you know, as much as I don't like my ex, you know, she did kind of help me get back into that mindset of like, hey, like, you know, maybe it's more important to build like, you know, more meaningful connections with people, you know? And I thought I had that with her, but obviously things didn't work out. But yeah, so like, you know, moving forward, that's what I'm looking for now, where it's just something more long-term, someone to like, you know, settle down with, but also like, you know, because, you know, we're both at such a young age. It's like, you know, someone that, you know, will understand like, you know, the flaws that come with each person and just help build each other up and build something together. Yeah. You know,
instead of like building resentment because of the way you are.
Exactly. You know? Especially because like, you know, I don't like, one of the things that I critique a lot, especially about like, you know, the dating scene nowadays, is like everything feels superficial at times.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like, you know, people focus on, you know, material things like, you know, okay, how much do you make? Or like, what do you bring to the table? Yeah. Like, you know, how can you take care of me? When in reality, it's like, you know, okay, it's not just how one can take care of the other, but how like, you know, we both can like take care of ourselves.
Help each other.
But also like, you know, what can we offer to each other too?
Yeah, to help grow. And I feel like a lot of people in the dating world now, it's more of a, not really on how can I grow, it's just more of a, how can I benefit off this person?
Exactly. And then like, you know, and then one of the things people also struggle with too is like, you know, when they try to get into the mindset of like building a healthy relationship, is like they think everything's always going to be 50-50. That's never the case.
Nah. Yeah.
The only thing is just like, you know, one person may be at like 60 one day. Yeah. And like while the other person's at 40. Yeah. And then like, you know, vice versa. Like as long as like, you know, nobody's ever at zero. Yeah. Like, you know, that's all that matters. Because like, you know, there's going to be times where like I'm going to have to lift someone up, and there's other times where someone else is going to have to lift me up.
Yeah, I agree. And like, and that's the thing about relationships. Like you said, not everything's always going to be 50-50. You can't always have to rely on the other person for them to put the equal amount of energy that you put in. At times, we all, as humans, we get tired, you know, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. We get drained and stuff like that. And, you know, sometimes one has to step up and really compromise for the other person if you really want to be with somebody and actually see a potential future with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's crazy because like people now, like in the single dating world, they only care about, you know, oh, like if you won't do it, someone else will. And you know, what kind of like if you're trying to like build someone, what kind of mindset is that? That's like saying like you're not enough, and I will find someone that could try to be enough. And then once you get to that side, you know, it's the grass ain't probably greener over there.
Yeah.
You know, yes, it's probably fun for that month, week, 2 months, 5 months, but then after a certain point, it's gonna be like, oh, this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, and it's a harmful thing to do to people too, because it's like, you know, it creates that feeling of like, you know, oh, I'm just replaceable. So it's like, and that's what also like creates like, you know, resentment between like both like, you know, between men and women.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, oh, like men ain't shit, or like, oh, these bitches ain't shit.
Yeah.
You know, but in reality, it's just like, you know, as long as like, you know, there's like, as long as people learn how to compromise, like, you know, but also too, it's like healthy communication is a big one.
Yeah.
Because that is something that, you know, wasn't like, as much as, you know, my ex didn't communicate, I also wasn't perfect in that too. Yeah. You know, where there'd be times where like I'd shut down. Yeah. But, you know, communication is a big, like, you know, foundation of like, you know, healthy relationships, just like being transparent, being open with someone. Yeah. You know, and being honest too about like, you know, hey, like for example, like, you know, my ex, she got a dog without even talking to me. And that's when we were living together. And that was something that, you know, she didn't communicate with me about. She only told me she was looking, but didn't tell me that, you know, she was actually going to get him. Yeah. So, you know, like stuff like that where it's like, you know, you just got to communicate, and like, it's like, you don't have to, and, you know, sometimes there's no solution, but, you know, as long as there's compromise, like, you know, that's what really makes it work.
Yeah. And yeah, like, I think people nowadays are a lot more selfish, and I could really agree to that because I'm pretty, the way I grew up, I had to become selfish, you know, because the people around me were selfish with me. You know, they only cared about what they were doing and put me in a position where I had to pretty much take care of myself. And I was a child, bro. Like I was second grade, third grade, or whatever, you know. And I was in a very chaotic world, in a chaotic environment where I only had to care about me, because if I cared about anyone else, like it was detrimental to the person that I was, you know. And now that I'm an adult and really can choose the actions that I want to do and choose the things that I want to say and think, and, you know, move the way that I move, you know, I am self-aware enough that I say that I lack some empathy between me and other people, only because like, or me for other people, because like everything that I do, I have majority done it on my own. You know, I didn't really have help with a lot of things, like especially like learning how to talk about my feelings. No one has ever taught me that. I'm a young black man in America. Like, we're not taught that. We're people of color in America. Yeah. Well, it's stigmatized. You know, like we're not taught how to talk properly about how we truly feel or how we truly think to other people, and it's brought me to a point where like now, like, I'm so self-conscious and self-aware of the things that I'm doing, and like now I done a lot of self-work on myself to the point where I can properly communicate how I feel now. I can tell you what is bothering me or what is going on in my mind or how I feel about a certain situation, if I like it or dislike it, or if I feel neutral about the whole situation. And like sometimes people nowadays are just so selfish to the point where they don't care about how the other people feel. Now I'm at a point where like, okay, I do care about how you feel, but if I can't talk to you in a way that I'm feeling heard, feeling comfortable to really express some of the deepest part of me, and you're going to react in a negative way, is going to push me to a point where I'm like, okay, I don't even want to talk to you. Yeah. You know? And it, unfortunately for me, I've been in situations with like family members, you know, like my mom, where like it got to a point where like I would tell her stuff, and it would get to a point where like she would respond in a way that I feel like as a parent you shouldn't respond to. But like you said, like my parents are older, so like they had a different upbringing than I did and a different way to self-express themselves. You know, so like now, like in the generation of, you know, it's okay to talk, be sensitive, be vulnerable with people, and if it's met with like a negative type of response, you're not gonna want to share. Mm-hmm. You know, and it got to a point with me and like my mom at one point where like I didn't want to talk to my mom about certain things. You know, she would be like, "Oh, hey, how was work? Work was good. Oh, like cool. How was your day? It was cool." You know, like I didn't want to get deep. It was just a superficial emotion or just responses that I was just giving to my mom because of something a negative response that she gave to me when I was trying to verbally express how I truly felt.
Yeah, and that's like that's how it was with my parents too. And it's unfortunate that, you know, they had to learn that the way that they did, because like I essentially had to give them like the biggest wake up call ever.
Yeah.
By going into that program, because initially I didn't tell them, and then you know, once I was in there, like I told them, and then eventually like I actually like sat them down in front of a therapist with me, and like, you know, had a family session, talked about everything, and like now they're, you know, they're not fully there in terms of understanding, but they're coming to accept, like, you know, hey, this is who I am, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot better too, like with the relationship with my parents. You know, I'm able, like, it's still weird to me at times, you know, talking to them about certain things, because like, you know, growing up, like, you know, like, and I'm sure you can relate to, it's like it's nothing you never really talked about, like it's always like, oh yeah, I'm good, or yeah, that's fine, well, it's whatever, and like kind of just like blowing them off or something. But yeah, it's something I'm still trying to get used to at times, but it's definitely been a lot better now, like, you know, giving them that wake up call. The only thing I wish was different was just that they didn't have to learn that way. But sometimes, you know, that's what it takes for someone to learn. But I'm glad that they decided to go in a positive route instead of like, you
more
know,
destructive,
the other way, and just kind of ice me out, because that would have been terrible.
100%, dude.
This is probably the deepest Mac bang,
dude. It actually, dude, like, this is very deep.
I like it though, because I was able to talk about it more than I was on Harrison's podcast.
Yeah, because it was, because I feel like, you know, like I love Harrison and I love what he does, but it was just more of a had an objective. You feel me? Like, you were there to just talk about music, you know. And you weren't really able to truly express yourself and who you are as a character instead. I mean, I was the artist. Yeah, I was, but at the same time, you know, just focus a little bit more on music. But this conversation's been great. Yeah. And I appreciate you for like just coming on here and just sitting down with me, showing me new foods and stuff like that, man. And you know, we're obviously gonna still be talking a little bit more. You know, we still got hella time. You know, we got the days still fucking mad early and shit.
Yeah, I know. I do want to go back to the selfishness topic, because I feel like that's something that I've struggled with. I know you talked about you struggling with it, especially from such a young age. It's like, you know, it's a hard thing to get over.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, especially with not only just how we're brought up, but like, you know, how we're conditioned by the people around us, like, and what's going on in the world, like, you know, especially with, because like there's certain times where, like, you know, it feels like, you know, only the selfish people are able to get ahead, and like, you know, it's an unfortunate that, you know, that's like a partial truth, you know, as part of the world. But you know, I mean, there are times where it's okay to be selfish, like especially when it comes to like, you know, putting your own well-being first. You know, that's very important. Or like, you know, your own morals. Like, you know, if you're not standing with something that someone's doing, but there's other times too where it's like, you know, you don't want to take advantage of people. You know, with that selfishness.
And I think, like you said, you know, it can be a very hard thing to try to get over, only because like you said, you know, we're conditioned to, you know, be yes, and like just try to get over it without,
or like, fuck you.
You know, and it's sad to see that a lot of people are just not being as compassionate as we can to other people, and just be as kind and just nurturing to other people, because at the end of the day, you truly don't know what anyone's going through, because they can, like we said, you know, we could talk and be like, oh yeah, I'm good, you know, but deep down at home when we're sitting in our rooms at night at 3 a.m. thinking about, oh, like my life is not the way that I want it to be, and you know, I wish I can do better and stuff like that, you know, like I remember someone asked me, like, how do I stay so positive and just like in a good mindset all the time, and it's just like, you know, like Gandhi said this quote, where is be the change you want to see in the world, right? And I have nothing but great visions for the world and nothing but just peace, you know? And so like when I come to people, and like I've said this in a different episode, where I got love tatted on me because I'm right-handed, and whenever I shake somebody's hand, it's like an exchange of energy, you know? I meet them with already like right off rip, hey, my name's Makai, nice to meet you. Oh, your name's blah blah, nice to meet you. I already met them with love without them even knowing. I'm giving them that positive energy off the rip, you know? And it's something that is not taught, you know, it's not taught in the society that we live in right now, you know? And it's like something that we have to work on, and like day in and day out, you know? At times, yes, it's gonna get hard. Yes, it's gonna put you in positions where you are gonna be feeling uncomfortable, that you don't wanna do things, and like it's gonna mess you up mentally. It can see, that's the thing. The crazy thing about the brain is that like your brain can trick yourself into causing you so much like harm to your brain, and it can go into a physical state then at that point. And
it's one of the biggest forms of self-sabotage.
And like, dude, going back to like relationships, like where I was just chasing nothing but love or lust, like, and it would when I like I would meet a good woman or just someone that was good for me, it would get to a point where it would be like, okay, like now, like, hey, like we should get more serious, and then I would do things where I would self-sabotage the relationship because I wasn't mentally or emotionally mature enough to either have those deep conversations, and I only wanted the physical aspect of everything.
And also, too, it's like, it's also a possible manifestation of, like, you know, growing up in chaos. You know, especially because, like, for me, for a while, like, you know, I loved conflict. Like, I thrived in conflict. If anything, like, you know, it was so bad to the point where, like, I would purposely pick arguments with people.
Oh, God.
Just so I can feel something. And it's unhealthy. It's a very unhealthy way to go about. And, you know, and I've noticed that, too, with, like, certain relationships that I would get into where it's, like, you know, where I would self-sabotage by, you know, like, you know, because I'd have that internal anxiety of, like, you know, oh, shit, things are getting serious, you know, and like, you know, and it's not something that, you know, you're used to, you know, especially with like, you know, your upbringing and everything, or like even just how you've been living like within the past like couple months, you know, so like, you know, and especially because humans too are like, it's hard for us sometimes to adapt to things,
adapt to change,
and it's not, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard, it's a long process, but yeah, just like, you know, just kind of craving that chaos or that conflict or that you know, that opposition, like, you know, it's like it's a very big form of self-sabotage that I've been guilty of, people I've been in relationships with have been guilty of, like you know, it's
tough.
It is tough.
And I think the thing that sucks about the self-sabotaging thing, it's like, you know, we're not just harming ourselves, you know, we're harming other people, because, you know, like, they see so much light and love and so much great things in us, but we're so like used to being in like a negative mind space that we can't even think that that's how they see us. That's how they're perceived as us, you know? And
then just sort of even internalizing that too. It's just like, you know, pushing it down and like just kind of being like, oh, whatever. Until eventually, like, you know, it builds and builds and builds and builds, and then you just explode. After that, like, you know, I'd have those episodes where, like, you know, I would just shove stuff deep down. Not talk about it with anybody, not even, like, close friends that, like, know me on, like, an even more personal level. You know? And so, like, you know, finally, like, I just snap. And, you know, shit goes sideways.
Dude, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, man, like, one of the biggest things that I just love to preach out to people is just spread more love, bro. Because like at the end of the day, like I said, you don't know who's going through stuff and just who's dealing with a lot of just damaging stuff to themselves, just mentally, physically, emotionally, and you could be a beacon of hope and just a light for other people that see you and really thrive or just really gain energy from you if you just emit nothing but positive energy all the time. And yes, that, like I said, it can be exhausting, but at the end of the day, you know, it costs nothing to be kind to other people, just to be nice to other people. It's you literally have to go out of your way to be angry or just to be mad at other people and just to ruin or just to like just it's like a lot of turmoil to just be negative. It takes a lot more energy to be negative than it does to be positive, you know?
Yeah. And plus too, it's like you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, sometimes it can open the doors for like opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's like, you know, that's why it's always good to just like, you know, radiate that positivity, be nice to people. Like shit, there was one time like I was at a YG concert like a couple months ago.
Oh, fire.
Like
Where?
I had an extra ticket. It was down in San Diego.
Oh shit, fire.
I mean, it was kind of a concert. It was more like he was making an appearance at a club.
Oh, okay.
And like he did a few songs but then left. It was kind of BS, but it is what it is. I still had
He
a
showed
good
up
time.
mad late and shit.
Yeah, no, yeah, he did. Like, dude, this dude showed up at 2 a.m. and then was there for
What time did the place close?
4.
Oh, hell no. I'm not saying I'll do no place at 4 a.m., bro.
He showed up at 2 and then was there for 15 minutes and then dipped.
Bro.
But it is what it is. I still had a good time.
Bro.
But yeah, so like I remember I was in line, someone was like, you know, like someone was just like trying to get in with their friends, but like they didn't have money to get in. And I was just like, oh, yo, I have an extra ticket because one of my friends ended up dipping on me. So I was like,
You were
oh, it's fine.
Dolo?
Huh?
You were Dolo?
I was with another person.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had an extra ticket. And I was like, here, just take that extra ticket.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, they ended up having a good time. Like, they bought me a couple drinks, too, because they were like, dude, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was cool.
Yeah. It literally costs nothing to be kind, bro.
But yeah, stuff like that. Or even, like, you know, like, even how I met Codis, for example.
Yeah.
For everybody that doesn't know Codis that's watching this, really good friend of mine, really talented DJ.
Very
and
talented
musician.
DJ. Yep.
But how I met him, too, was like, you know, I've known this dude for almost 7 years now.
Oh, damn.
But I met him before the music, before like we both were into music and all that.
Yeah.
Like he was just a worker at Alberto's, and you know, and I was chopping it up with him. I thought he was a cool dude, you know. And funniest thing is that you know he almost charged me $2,000 for 4 burritos because he forgot to put the decimal point between one of the zeros. So. But like you know, I was a good sport about it. He was a good sport about it. Got his contact information.
Nah, bro.
Yeah. But I got his contact information, like, you know, on Snapchat.
That's actually hilarious.
Then, like, you know, we kept in touch, stayed friends, and, like, look where we're at now. It's like, you know, he introduced me to, like, the whole music scene. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for him, like, you know, I wouldn't be sitting here with Pwky.
Yeah.
And, like, I wouldn't be exposed to, like, so many great artists, like, around Temecula, around the IE, San Diego, like, all that stuff. And that was just born out of one moment of kindness, just, like, you know, chopping it up with a dude that I didn't even know. Yeah.
It's crazy, because, like, Codis said that he knew me in middle school. To be honest, Codis, if you see this, bro, and I told you this, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Bro, like, my childhood is so fucked, bro. Like, I barely remember half the shit I did in high school, bro. Like, it's crazy. But, yeah, Codis is the great guy. I remember, great person, great personality, funny as fuck, dude. Cool as fuck. Great style. Crazy. But we're coming down to the final minutes here. And, you know, hold on, I'm gonna cut that part out. Sorry.
No,
I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay. So we're coming down to the final minutes. Is there anything else that you would like to ask me or anything that you would like to know, just in general?
I mean, shit. So you asked me about any music that I'm working on.
Oh shit. Okay.
How about you? I know you told me before you were messing around with something on FL.
Okay.
Like, you know, we're gonna see a Pwky Cadillo EP or album anytime soon, or
actually, yes. I'm not gonna say a date because I don't want to say something and then it not come out on that date. But
you don't want to jinx yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I have an idea for an EP, you know, and you know, this is an exclusive. I haven't really talked about this too much online, but the EP is like pretty much going through the phases of a relationship. Right now, the title that I'm working on is called Through It All, right? But it pretty much is gonna go from, you know, when you first meet somebody, you know, you guys start dating, then you guys actually are in a relationship, and then it goes to the downfall of a relationship, and then, you know, you guys break up, and then the post-breakup, stuff like that. So, like, you know, like, it's pretty much just a whole relationship type of and vibe, I guess you can say.
Kind of like the acceptance of going from intimate with each other to complete strangers.
Yeah, you know, and then so that's the idea that I have right now. So I still gotta build up to like everything, but right now that's the idea that I have in my head for it. And of course I'm gonna be I plan on dropping more music before that EP. So, you know, probably like at least 2 more songs before the end of the year. So yeah, that's something that I'm currently working on, and then next year I got other shit that I want to be working on as well. But yeah, for music wise, that's currently what's happening for me.
I know. I said I'm working on an album that I'm hoping to get put out by the end of the year, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, music is such a long process. Sometimes it can come to you, and then other times like it takes months.
Yeah, it's like
literally all the music that I recorded on my last project that I put out, Always in My Heart, that I put out last year, like that was
out.
Yeah, that was all stuff that I recorded like the year prior or like 2 years before that. And like, you know, and to be honest, like all the music that I've been putting out recently like has all just been stuff from the vault. Like but I'm really excited to show everybody what I've been recording and you know, making and shit. Maybe I'll slide Makai one of the files and put it as a little preview at the end of the episode. We'll see.
Oh, yes, he definitely will, because I'm a badger this nigga to give me that.
No, yeah, you will.
I definitely will. Definitely. And, you know, right before we sign off and all that, you know, what kind of advice would you like to give the people that are listening to right now?
It's okay to talk to people about what you're going through, whether it's positive or bad, you know, and even if you don't have people to talk to, I mean, shit, you could always hit me up. My Instagram will be down in the bio. Or down in the link.
You can hit me up too. You know, I'm very, I have a lot of different aspects and different opinions about life. I've been through hella shit in my life, so, you know, just know anything that you think of or you feel, I've probably been through it 10 times over. Yeah. So.
And also, if you have something that you're working on, but you're, you know, kind of stuck not knowing how to just go through with that whole process, just say, fuck it, do it.
Yeah.
That's what I did with music, you know, especially with learning how to produce. So, you know, as long as you take that chance.
Yeah. Take that first step. The first step is always the hardest step, you know? Because once you get that first step and you learn that thing, you're like, okay, so that's how I did it that time. Maybe I could do it different this time.
Yeah.
And then just take those little steps.
Yeah. And progress isn't linear either.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how big of a step you take, as long as that step is just moving forward.
Yeah. Never take any steps back. That's one thing you don't want to do.
I mean, it's impossible to never take steps back, but it's about how you pick yourself up, though.
Okay. Hey, but, choo-choo, my fault.
Yeah, but once again, though, shout out Red Pine Cafe.
Red Pine, yes, thank you. Thank you, my boy.
Yeah, we had good food, we had good drinks.
Yes, I'm definitely going to link them in the description.
Yeah. Shout out to owner Derek Cuento.
Yes, shout out. I'll link all of his stuff in the bio. Make sure you give him a follow, give him a great review. If you're in the IE or just happen to come to Southern California around between, you know, San Diego and a little halfway in between LA and OC. You know, and OC, make sure you stop by and give him a great either review or just try his food, you know, because I had amazing eats. And I definitely enjoyed everything that I was eating right now.
Hey, and his portion sizes are worth it too.
Bro,
like,
this is a second meal, bro. Like I ate half of it, and there's still more half left.
No, same here, because like this could last you for 2 meals.
Two meals, yeah.
And his food is pretty healthy too.
Yes.
And you don't feel like shit after
you don't.
eating it.
And you don't feel heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that's one of my biggest complaints with food sometimes. It's like, you know, sometimes like you get that feeling in your stomach or your chest, you're just like, oof.
Yeah. Or you get the itis after, you're like, fuck, I don't want to do it.
Yep.
But yes, make sure you go visit Red Pine Cafe here in Temecula, California. Like I said, this location and all that will be down in the description. once again,
make sure you follow me on Instagram. Follow Makai.
Yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
Makai for having me. Thank you for lunch again.
Yeah, thank you for being on here, bro, and opening up, you know?
Yes,
and
sir.
I appreciate that. Once again, I go by the name of Makai Cadillo. Thank you to Lewis for being on this episode and being a part of the vision, seeing
Yes,
what
sir.
I got going on. You know, thank you guys for listening and watching me and Lewis eating today. And, you know, I'll see you guys in the next video. Love every single one of y'all. Peace.
Tired of wondering how you been doing and knowing I'll never break you guys apart. Whatever happened to what we called ours. All of the talks, so we looked at the stars. Say that I loved you, it's only the half of it. Thought I was fine.